IELTS Essay Writing or Writing Task 2. And what we are going to cover today is the structure of the writing, marking criteria and question types, and finally, how to practice. So the first part in the structure of the writing is before we even see what we have inside the paragraphs, before we know what we should write, we should know the rules. So these are some basic rules in IELTS essay writing. So remember that there is a minimum word count of 250 words for the essay. It means that we shouldn't write fewer than 250 words. It's okay if you write more. Our time is 40 minutes for this task. We don't have more time since we have 1 hour for two tasks, 40 minutes for essay and 20 minutes depending on the type of IELTS you're taking part in. Could be for graph writing, part 1, task 1, or letter writing for general training IELTS. Now, going back to essay, 250 words in 40 minutes means something about 4 or 5 paragraphs. So that's what we are going to produce, an essay of 4 or 5 paragraphs which contains a minimum of 250 words in 40 minutes. Everything good so far? If anybody heard me, you can say yes in chat or put some reactions up there. Yes, somebody's typing. Okay, great.
Yes, it's okay.
So now let's see what's inside the essay. The first paragraph of those 4 or 5 is called the introduction. And to see what's inside the introduction, we have 3 main parts in introduction. And I want you to think about why one of them is red. Okay, so I'm going to explain what they are, and you think about why the third one is red. So in the introduction, you start usually by a general statement or a hook, something like some background information, could be a short history, in the form of one sentence to ease the reader towards the topic. And then you discuss the details of the topic or the question, basically outlining what the question is that you're trying to answer. Remember, in these 2 parts, you should never repeat the question word by word or verbatim. You need to paraphrase what the topic is. And finally, the most important, did I just answer my own question? Why
Yes,
this
you
is,
did.
I was wondering if people thought it's red because it's the most dangerous. It's not the most dangerous. It's the most important part of introduction.
Yeah.
Thesis statement, and it's a fancy word for your view, your answer, your idea to the question. So one more time, you might give some background information about the topic. You introduce the topic in detail, show if there's a controversy, there is disagreement, there is different ideas people are talking about. And finally, what is your view about that topic that you introduced? These 3 could be in the form of 3 sentences. So you can have an introduction that has 3 sentences in this order. So remember, the order is important. It's okay to remove the first one. So sometimes you can start your introduction just by introducing the topic details, the question, and then give your answer. You don't have to have a general statement or hook all the time, but if you do want to have it, it needs to be at the beginning. So the order is important. And the most important item here is the thesis statement. That's the one that you can never omit. Now, let's take a look at one real example. Okay, so this is a real IELTS essay question example. Some people believe that traditional classroom education is outdated and should be replaced by online learning platforms. Do you agree or disagree? That's a great question, Negar, and you will see the answer very soon. So I suggest that you focus on this question because we are going to work with this question throughout, like the whole thing. We are going to see a whole writing, introduction, body, and conclusion, one by one for this particular topic. So the topic is this. Some people believe that traditional classroom education is outdated. It's not useful anymore and should be replaced by online learning platforms. And when it says some people believe that, it means others believe otherwise. And then finally, the question is, do you agree or disagree? So do you agree with these people or do you disagree? So in your mind right now, try to imagine your introduction. So your introduction is probably going to be something like, if you want to have a general statement or hook, you want to start by slowly telling the reader about traditional classroom education and or how technology is changing traditional education. And then you can go directly to the topic that shows a controversy or disagreement between two groups of people, some believing traditional education is better, some believing the modern online learning platforms are better solution. And after you introduce this disagreement, then you answer the question yourself. What is your view? Do you agree or disagree? Do you think it's traditional classrooms or online learning platforms? And let's take a look at a really good example of introduction. And this example is going to answer your question, Negar. Should I summarize my reasons in introduction or not? Let's take a look at this example, and then I will explain more if needed. So here is one example. Look at the first sentence. In recent years. So what immediately comes to mind when you look at the first three words here, in recent years, is that it's giving some history. It's giving some background information. It's probably the hook. It's probably the general statement. In recent years, the rapid development of technology has transformed the way education is delivered, leading many to question the relevance of traditional classroom-based learning. So this whole thing is just giving a background, some background information about how technology is changing education. It's not giving you the question directly yet. In the next sentence, you see the actual question paraphrased in this way. While some argue that, so this is a paraphrase of some people believe that, while some argue that online learning platforms offer a more effective and accessible alternative, others believe that the traditional classroom environment remains indispensable. So some people believe online platforms are more effective. Others believe traditional classroom environments are indispensable, meaning you can't replace them with anything else. And finally, in the last sentence, you have the thesis statement. And we are narrowing it down to Negar's question here, by the way. So if you do want to summarize your reasons, it would be here. It would be at the end of the introduction. But the thesis statement here is, in my view, which shows that you are answering the question. So that's a signpost. That means, now here is my idea to this topic, about this topic, or this is how I answer the question. Despite the benefits of online education, traditional classrooms continue to hold significant value. So in these examples, Negar, we didn't see a summary of reasons. Is it possible to give a summary of reasons? Yes, it's possible. If you give a really, really short, brief summary of your reasons, that is fine. But remember something. You have only 40 minutes, and you need to write a complete writing with introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion. Sometimes, if you give your reasons in introduction, it will just blow up the size of your introduction compared to the rest of the paragraphs. One problem. Second problem, it will take a lot of time, and you won't be able to have enough time to develop those beautiful ideas later on in your body paragraphs. So here is a secret for you. This is just for Negar. If anybody else is listening, do not listen to this, okay? So it's only for Negar here. Negar, if you have a large introduction, because you could think about a good hook, you could introduce your topic well, and you have a sentence for your thesis that is longer, then ignore the summary of the reasons. Don't write it. But sometimes you don't have a good idea for a hook. You don't have a good idea for some background information. So you just introduce the topic, or quickly you give your answer. That would be a good time to summarize your reasons, to expand the size a little bit of your introduction. Again, you don't want to go into the details here, just a summary, as you said in chat. So did I answer your question, Negar? I know you said, okay, thanks, but that was 5 minutes ago. I talked too much here. Yes?
Okay.
Nice. Saba, you
Thank you.
should ask me to shut up sometimes, you know. And we have Soroush here. Hi, Soroush. If you can hear me, you can type in chat or talk to us.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
My name is Surush, husband Negar. My English is not very good.
It's okay.
Please
It's all
just to
right.
come listen. I'm beginner student of Sabah.
All right. All right. Saba is so proud of you to be here.
Of
Saba
course,
is
of
very happy.
course. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So this is a really good example of a really complete introduction. Maybe if I write an introduction myself in the test, I would write something even shorter than this. So remember, you don't always come up with all of these ideas during your test. So this is just an example to show you what's possible to write. You don't have to write exactly like this or this complete. In terms of how many sentences you have. Let's go to the next part. After your introduction, you have the body paragraphs. If you are writing a 4-paragraph essay, you have 2 body paragraphs. If you're writing a 5-paragraph essay, you have 3 body paragraphs. Regardless of the number of body paragraphs you're going to have, what's inside the body paragraphs is first, the topic sentence. It's read because it's important, not because it's dangerous. Again, thank you so much. Nobody's laughing at my jokes these days. I used to. What's going on? You know there are some reactions over there. Just make sure you don't send me a heart when I make a joke. That would be weird. Okay, send me a laughter. Like let me try it myself. Saba is not helping me here. Oh, do
I'm
I have
listening.
access to that? You can also do it in chat.
Yes, just in chat.
No, you can't put it on the whole screen like for everybody to see.
No.
You
Yeah, it's
should be
just in
able to do
chat.
that. Yeah, show reaction
Not everybody
here.
can
You
see.
see, oh, I'm doing it now.
Oh, this
Okay.
one?
So
I don't
there's
know
3
how.
dots yes, at the bottom of the screen next to the call buttons. And then if you open that, it says show
Ah.
reactions and then yes. So for so yes. So you can actually laugh and send hearts and
Good
whatever. Okay.
then. Good
Yes.
then.
Beautiful.
Okay,
Beautiful. Okay.
good.
So the
Okay,
body
go on.
paragraphs start with a topic sentence, which is
Mhm.
the main idea of that paragraph. So that would be the main idea of one of your reasons in Negar's example, Negar's question. So if you agree with traditional education and you have 2 main reasons why that's better than online education, you would have 2 body paragraphs because you have 2 main reasons. If you have 3 main reasons, then you have 3 body paragraphs. And you start the body paragraph right at the beginning with the topic sentence. So you need to mention right off the bat what the first reason is. And then after that, you have many other sentences coming to give details, develop your idea, why your reason is relevant to the topic, and then give examples to develop even further. So first, you give the main idea. So don't start with an example. Don't start with a detail. You start your body paragraphs with the main thing, and then you add the details to develop, and you include examples. Examples are great idea to develop, but they're not mandatory. So it's a great idea to have examples in all of your body paragraphs if you can, but if you can add details and development without examples, that's also fine. So don't think that you must have examples everywhere. It's a good idea to have them. I will show you 2 body paragraphs. One showing examples, the other one developing without examples, so you see both are possible. Do you remember the topic we were talking about earlier? So let me just show it to you one more time. Some people believe that traditional classroom education is outdated and should be replaced by online learning platforms. Do you agree or disagree? And if you remember the introduction we had, should I go back to the introduction? We forgot. What was the idea of the writer here? Because I want to continue that whole thing. If you look at the thesis, you should be able to tell me in chat, everybody, if you are watching this, does this IELTS candidate agree or disagree with
Agree.
traditional classroom
I think
education
agree.
being replaced? So let's take a
I
look.
think
This is the
agree.
thesis. The last part is the thesis statement. In my view,
No.
despite the benefits of online education, traditional
Traditional.
classrooms continue to hold
Oh
significant
my
value.
God. Yeah.
So
Tradition.
which one?
Traditional classroom. Disagree.
Yes. So
Person is
so
disagree.
this And by the way, you could agree. You're not going to lose marks for your ideas. You could agree or disagree. But in this case, this writer disagreed with the question because they believe that traditional classrooms are significant. They are more important. They cannot be replaced by online education. So let's go back to body paragraphs.
Yes.
Okay, body paragraph 1. So take a look. So the first idea starts with, firstly, that's a nice signpost to say that, hey, I'm going to have multiple ideas, and this is the first of them. Firstly, traditional classrooms play a crucial role in fostering interpersonal relationships and collaboration. So that's the main first idea. Why are traditional classrooms crucial? Because they foster relationships and collaboration between people. Now there are more details to support this idea and to develop that. So let's go over them. Face-to-face interaction with peers and teachers helps the students develop communication skills and teamwork abilities, which are vital in both personal and professional contexts. The physical presence of classmates and instructors creates an environment that encourages discussion, debate, and mutual support, all of which are difficult to replicate in an online setting. So note that the key part of this argument is physical presence. So by focusing that physical presence is important in traditional classrooms, and then the reason why it is important. So sometimes the students are developing ideas without connecting it to their main idea. So the main idea was physical classrooms are the significant ones. And after that, there is the example. For example, group projects and in-class activities not only enhance learning, but also teach students how to navigate real-world social dynamics. So that example at the end helps develop the idea even further. So if you want to summarize this whole body paragraph as the first reason, it would be traditional classrooms, yes, because of interpersonal relationships and collaboration. So that's the first reason. Now, if you want to go to the second body paragraph, if you agree with this idea and you want to add a new reason to support that, you probably want to mention that your second body paragraph agrees with the first right at the beginning to add more cohesion to your writing, which Sabah is going to talk about later on. So to glue them together, the two body paragraphs together, and you can see here that it starts with another key advantage. It means we already talked about one advantage. This is another one of those. So another key advantage of traditional classrooms is the immediate and personalized support students receive. Now, what do we mean by this? Let's continue the details. Teachers can observe nonverbal cues, gestures, body language, such as confusion or disengagement just by looking at their students and adapt their instruction accordingly. That's why I want to see your faces here, guys. If I see your faces, I have a chance at being able to read your emotions when you are confused, when you might be disengaged, and then I can tell you a really, really funny joke, funnier than the ones I have already, and then force you to put some of those beautiful emojis here. Yes, Negar is doing it now. She's engaged. Beautiful. Thank you, Saba. I just interrupted myself. Sorry. Let's go back to the body paragraph. So the second advantage was when you are there in the environment with the people, you can look at their faces and then you can observe nonverbal cues such as confusion or disengagement and adapt their instruction accordingly. This dynamic interaction allows educators to address individual needs in real time, ensuring that students remain engaged and understand the material. In contrast, now here, this is an interesting part. So this is a technique to expand your ideas in favor of one idea. You can put in contrast and then continue or argue why the other method is not as good. In contrast, online learning often relies on pre-recorded lectures or automated systems which lack the flexibility and responsiveness of a human instructor. So just to continue with the same argument that when you have humans in the room physically present is different than when you have non-human instructors or recorded classes or automated systems. So that's the second idea.
So Rahim, here instead of just using for instance, it's a kind of counter argument, right? You just use in contrast and said something negative about the online learning, right?
Yes.
This is something that we can use
with this with the focus on the same reason that you are using here. So
yeah.
so the second reason was personalized support and immediate reaction to nonverbal cues. So and if you stay on the same reason, you can say this is exactly what online platforms are lacking. They lack this feature that is important in our argument. Exactly. So yeah. And you see in this body paragraph, there is no for instance or for example. It's developing everything using other tools instead of giving examples. Okay, let's go to the last paragraph of the essay. So we already had an introduction. We had two body paragraphs to support the view that traditional classrooms are indispensable. They cannot be replaced by online platforms. And finally, we want to write a paragraph as the conclusion for this essay. And I would say it has two parts, but the first part is way more important than the second part. The second part could be completely ignored. If you don't want to write that, or if you don't have enough time, that's fine. Don't write the second one. The second part is only useful if you want to add more words to your word count. You haven't reached 250 words and you have extra time. So you don't need number 2 if you don't have time. So basically, it's summarizing your thesis, like restating or paraphrasing or mentioning one more time why. What were the reasons that you thought traditional classrooms are indispensable? So that's the main idea of the conclusion. In conclusion, you want to summarize your ideas, mentioning that your answer is correct because of what you wrote in the body paragraphs. But if you want to continue and have a longer conclusion for the reasons I mentioned before, don't add examples, don't develop new ideas. You can only add suggestions, predictions, warning, etc. based on your conclusion or based on your thesis. So if you conclude that traditional classrooms are better, based on that conclusion, what suggestions can you give? What predictions about the future? What warnings? Other stuff. And we will see a good example of that right now. Are you ready?
Yes.
Ready for a good example?
Yes.
Only
yes,
Saba
yes,
is ready. Okay. Yes, let's go. This is the last paragraph. In conclusion, while online learning platforms have introduced innovative ways to access education, they cannot match the holistic benefits provided by traditional classrooms. So this is like a paraphrase for your main idea. That you already gave this idea in the thesis statement of your introduction. The opportunities for face-to-face interaction, that was your first reason, if you remember, in the first body paragraph, the opportunity, so you're summarizing your reasons again. The opportunities for face-to-face interaction, personalized guidance and skill development make classroom-based education a superior option. So you summarize the reasons why you thought traditional classrooms were better. And finally, you see, this is the part I told you is completely optional. You can give suggestions, predictions, warnings, etc. based on your conclusion. You don't have to write it, but if you want extra words in your conclusion, you can just write afterwards. Therefore, so based on everything that we concluded, therefore, despite the rise of technology in education, traditional classrooms should, so it's a suggestion, should continue to be prioritized. So for example, by the government, by whoever is making decisions. So therefore, despite the rise of technology in education, traditional classrooms should continue to be prioritized as the cornerstone of effective learning. A completely optional sentence at the end of your conclusion. Yes, you can say it's a solution too. That's right. Yeah, you can call it a solution. You can call it suggestion. You can call it prediction about what might happen in the future. We don't know. it might happen, and sometimes you can have different sentences which are all using your main thesis in order to talk about the future, whether it's a should or will or might in the future. So those are all different types of sentences you can have. Beautiful. So that's the last part of the conclusion. Before I hand it over to Sabo to continue with marking criteria and question types, I just want to go back to this whole example one more time and just tell you that if you notice, the essay has a certain order of paragraphs, and each paragraph has a certain order of sentences. That's coherence. You need to know how to start a paragraph, how to even start a sentence, and most importantly, how to start your essay with introduction, and then how each body paragraph is sequenced, how body paragraphs are connected with each other, and finally, in the conclusion, how you summarize your thesis first, and then you can give suggestions, predictions, and whatever else you need. So questions for me?
Yes, somebody wrote something.
Can we do it? Don't it decrease our score? So first of all, we what we see here is guest user. So I don't know if you joined a little bit later, and who you are. That's Negar.
That's Nagar. Yes.
Oh, the background changed. Negar's background was blue before. Is it still blue on your end? I see a different background color.
The blue left. The blue left.
Okay. Yes, Negar. So why would you lose marks in conclusion if you bring new reasons, if you bring new ideas, and if you try to develop a new item, a new reason or idea? If a solution is one of your ideas, it should be in the body paragraph. But if your body paragraphs are not about solutions, then your solution could be based on the reasons to select one item in the body paragraphs. Then that would be fine. So remember, when you use the word solution, you need to know exactly what type of question we are talking about. If it's a problem solution type essay, which Saba will tell us about, then yes, your solution should be in the body paragraph, not in the conclusion. But in this case, we just needed to select between two options, agree or disagree. And after everything is developed completely, based on our agreement or disagreement with the topic, then you can provide some suggestion, or as you called it, solution. So the meaning of solution is different in different types of essays. So in this essay, solution is not a main point. Solution is completely optional extra that you can add as suggestion in your conclusion. I hope I answered your question, if I understood it correctly. Did you think I understood the question correctly, Saba?
Yes, and I suppose, okay,
Awesome, I get that.
I understand your answer. Okay.
Okay, so I will pause here and I will come back with some more points after Saba is done. And whenever you're ready, Saba, you can share your own part of the presentation. We are now going to look at marking criteria, band descriptors, and question types.
Yes, and of course, you know, my presentation, of course, because I've just got 30 minutes, is not that long, you know. So everything is explained briefly. Let me share. Let me share my desktop. And tell me whenever you've got it.
Yes, we got it.
Can you see IELTS Writing?
Yes.
Okay. So here, let's talk about band descriptors and the question types. Okay. Here. First, let's see what we'll learn here. We'll know about the band descriptors for bands 6, 7, 8, and 9, not below 6, of course. And we'll talk about question types for writing task 2 and some tips to see how to write better essays for higher bands. So let's start with this, that what are band descriptors? And let me say something. I cannot see the question box or the chat box. Okay. If you have any questions, Rahim, you can just ask me in the middle. Okay. I just have my own.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So the band descriptors, one of them is task achievement or task response. No difference in the name. And the task achievement or task response is addressing the task or the question fully and completely. It means that you should be able to address the question completely, answer the question, not about the question. And then coherence and cohesion, which means the logical organization and linking between the ideas and the paragraphs. You should be able to convey your message clearly. And then the lexical resource, which is the vocabulary range and the accuracy, using the words accurately. The variety is very important here. And then grammatical range and accuracy, which is the sentence variety and error-free usage. Again, it's very important to be able to use various structures, grammatical structures here. And of course, any of them has 25% of the total band score. Now, let's have a look in this table in detail to the criteria for band 6, 7, 8, and 9. And let's see what's the difference here. Let's start with task response. Let's look at band 6. For task response, band 6 addresses all parts of the task, but ideas, and I have underlined the most important parts, the ideas are unclear or insufficiently developed, you see. And now band 7. Band 7 addresses all parts like band 6, but the ideas are relevant and supported, you see. But still, it lacks full development. So much better than band 6, but still some places to improve. But look at band 8. Fully addresses all parts of the task with well-developed and extended ideas and precise examples. Like band 9. Band 9 also fully addresses all parts with insightful, fully developed, and skillfully integrated examples. As we see, band 8 and 9 somehow are the same. Of course, band 9 more skillfully can use the language, okay? But band 6 and 7, there are some mistakes and, okay, just some unclear and not, insufficient insufficient, thanks to you. Oh, sorry. Okay, I don't know, sometimes it happens. Now let's go to cohesion and coherence in band 6. It's very important here that in band 6, okay, it organizes ideas, okay, but cohesion is mechanical and it's repetitive, okay. It may have unclear connections, but in band 7, it logically organizes ideas, good use of cohesive devices. Cohesive devices, we mean things like although, but, and, however, things like that. But there are occasional lapses in the writing. So band 8, as you see, of course, the logical flow of ideas with a wide range of cohesive devices. Wide range is the key here for us. And they are used naturally. You see it, not mechanically, and effectively. And look at band 9, of course, smoothly and elegantly, and again, naturally. So band 8 and 9, again, somehow the same. Okay, but of course, it's very difficult to get band 9. And then for lexical resource, look, limited range of vocabulary, repetition again of words and phrases, lots of errors in the word choice. For band 7, okay, it's not limited, sufficient range of vocabulary with some awareness of collocation, occasional repetition, not a lot, but occasional repetition or errors. Band 8, again, wide range. You see how it is repeated? Wide range of vocabulary, naturally again. Wide range, variety, naturally. Rare errors, as you see, not a lot. And in band 9, again, sophisticated, precise vocabulary. Of course, the level is very high. And again, they are used naturally, and the vocabulary is used skillfully. For grammatical range and accuracy, Band 6 uses simple structures, again with frequent errors. But Band 7 uses mix of complex and simple sentences, not just simple sentences. There are errors, but okay, the clarity is okay, significant. Band 8, again, wide range of structures, rare errors. Band 9, full flexibility and error-free. That's godlike. So as a whole, when we're looking at this table, we can see that in Band 6, everything that we can see, repetition, you see, the mechanical use, limited range, simple structures. Band 7, okay, is there is a bit improvement here. Okay, sufficient range of vocabulary, a mixture of complex and simple sentences. But in Band 8 and 9, you see a fully address of all parts of the task, wide range, as you can see, of the structure of the vocabulary. So the level of the vocabulary and the structure is really high. So getting Band 7 is not that hard, right? Do you agree with me? It's not that difficult. You have to practice a little. 8 and 9, okay, maybe, but 7 is not, especially Nagar, you want to get 7, it's not that hard. You can do it. Okay.
Can I add something on your
Yes, sure.
previous slide? So
Yes, sure.
beautiful.
Yes.
So if it's okay, I just wanted to add two small things because sometimes you might have questions about. So you say each one of these criteria are responsible for 25% of the mark. So what we mean is in the actual test, they're going to give you 4 scores for each one of these criteria. And then the average is going to be your writing score, your essay writing score. So for example, let me give you an example. You could get an 8 for your task response because you are answering the question really well, you are developing your ideas, but you have tons of grammar mistakes, so you get a 5 for your grammar. Your lexical resource, your vocabulary gets a 5 because you didn't practice a lot. Your English level is not that high. So imagine you have a 5 for grammar, you have a 5 for vocabulary, but you have an 8 for task response. And let's say you have a 7 for coherence and cohesion. So you understand the sequence and the connection between the ideas. Now, what is your writing score? It's 8 plus 7 plus 5 plus 5 divided by 4. So let's actually do it. 8 plus 7 is 15, plus 5 is 20, plus 5 is 25, and 25 divided by 4, what is that? It's something around 6, isn't it?
Yeah.
6 times 4 is 24, so 25, that's 6.1, something like that, or 6.2, if I'm calculating correctly, right here. So you get a 6 for your whole writing if you have 8 for task response, 7 for coherence and cohesion, 5 for grammar, and 5 for vocabulary. So that's one point. So to increase your overall writing, if you're really good at, for example, grammar, you can focus on that and make sure you get a higher score on grammar. That could actually help reduce your weaknesses in vocabulary, for example. So that's one idea. The second idea is, so the second point I wanted to mention is, remember, I forgot my second point. As soon as I said remember, I forgot the second point I wanted to mention. So let me just try to remember. I said that the first point was the average. Oh yeah, I remembered that. So the second point I wanted to mention here, just look at this chart on the screen right now. The first 2 criteria are not about your English level. Okay, so the task response is about how you are thinking about, if you understand the question, of course, to some extent it is about your English level because you need to understand the question correctly and to be able to think about that. But then it's not about your language level. It's about how you answer a question and how you develop your arguments. The second one is not about English language, it's about thinking. How do you sequence ideas? What is the order of your ideas and how you connect them well together? Again, you need a little bit of language to know how to connect ideas, to know how to form your sentences and paragraphs, of course. But the main focus in task response and coherence and cohesion is not the English level. The English level is about vocabulary and the grammar part. So remember, if you are someone that has a lower English level, probably, you can still get a higher score if you are very careful with your response and with your coherence and cohesion, and some acceptable score. Again, you still need some English ability for those two, but you don't need to be a 9 at those two. Okay, just
Yeah.
my 2 points are done.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good points. Very good points. Yes.
Thank you.
Very good ones. Okay, thank you. So here, let's review some examples. Let's read a question together. Some people think that students should be required to study the subjects they dislike. So they need to study the subject they dislike. To what extent do you agree or disagree? This is the question. Now let's read just 2 sentences, which is band 6. This is band 6. Students should study all subjects, even the ones they don't like, because it is good for them. For example, math helps with daily tasks, even though some students find it difficult. You see what's the problem here? Can you tell me why is it band 6? We just talked about some points. Vonur, can you just mention 1 or 2 points here? What can you see? I wanted to ask you, the participants, to improve this, but I don't know, because the number actually, it's only Nagar, I think, now in the session, right?
And me.
And you, yeah. So I don't know if you can just do that at the moment, but you can just talk about it or write about it. That what's wrong with this? I mean, why is it 6? Yeah.
It is difficult to read.
Difficult to read.
The font is small.
Not
so
clear.
Not clear. You can, Nagar, you can just zoom it.
So this is how you can zoom in, Nagar. So if you put your mouse on the screen and then press the control key and the mouse wheel up, you can zoom on your end. Control, mouse wheel up. You zoom in as much as you want.
Okay. Yes, you can zoom. So the students should study all subjects, even the ones that they don't like. First, the short form like don't, right? It should be do not. What else?
Maybe you can explain it, and then we are recording this. They can watch it later if they if they can't find a sentence at the moment.
First, you see, for example, because it is good for them. You see, good is vague. What do we mean by good? Lots of students use these kind of adjectives, Rahim, you know, they write because it is good for them. And they think that, okay, they have used a very good adjective, but good is really vague here. Or, for example, after that, they have written math helps with daily tasks. What do you mean by daily tasks? You know, again, this is really vague. Now look at band score 7. Let's read it together. Requiring students to study subjects they dislike, such as mathematics, can provide valuable skills that will benefit them in the future. It got much better. Although some may find it challenging, learning these subjects helps develop critical thinking and problem-solving abilities. Okay, this is much more clear now, right? We just know that, okay, critical thinking, problem-solving abilities, and now band 8. While students may resist studying subjects they dislike, such as mathematics, it is essential for fostering important life skills. Look at the variety of the vocabulary. For example, despite the challenges, mastering math equips students with analytical skills that are applicable in managing finances and solving complex problems. You see, the structure, the variety of the structure and the vocabulary. And band 9, mandating that students engage with subjects they find unappealing, such as mathematics, ensures they develop a well-rounded skill set that extends beyond academic achievements. For instance, although many students may struggle with math, its application in real-world scenarios, such as budgeting and data analysis, highlights its indispensable value in both professional and personal life. How complete, right? We can see the differences. That from band 6, how can someone reach band 9? There is really a difference.
Okay.
And
Can I add a comment here?
Of course.
Before. So here there's a little comment. So for people who are going to watch this in the future, probably, or even for some of you here, you see that there's a you might argue that this may not be a perfect example of giving scores, and of course it is not, because it's not a complete writing of 250 words. It's just a part of a writing. So I wanted to tell you that, for example, here you will see the more they write, they have more opportunity to show their language level. So the first one, if the first student keeps writing like the two lines like that for 250 words, yes, that's a 6. But remember, if you have information about the rest of the writing as well, that should give you information about the overall score. So my point is, the second one, that we argue this is a equivalent to band 7, this could be a band 9. If there's no mistake here, and if you can show more language skills in the rest of your writing, it could be a 9. So anything that doesn't have a mistake could lead to a 9 if you use the opportunity for the 250 words to show the variety of structures you have, to show the lexical resource that you have, and most importantly, if you don't make mistakes. The first one has made mistakes, so that can never be a 9. But example number 2, 3, and 4, depending on the rest of the essay, they could all achieve 9 or 8 or 7, depending on how the rest goes. And just for people who might argue later when they're watching this part that, hey, it's not fair, like the last one has written double the amount of the first one. And yes, we can't really judge them based on just one paragraph or one sentence. Just wanted to add that comment.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
Yes, sure. Yes.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. Yes, feel free whenever you want to interrupt. Sure. Okay, now let's go to this part. How many types do we have for questions? How many question types? Do you know? I can't see the chat box.
Yes.
You can read it for me.
Agree or disagree? Problem
So this is one.
Advantages, disadvantages.
Good. 3.
Two-part question.
Excellent.
And so on.
She is amazing. I said 12.
Yes.
And 12? My answer is way off. Yeah, it is not 12. Exactly as Negar said, it's 4 or 5 depending on how you count them. Yeah, some people put them in 5 categories, some people in 4, and Negar is spot on. Awesome.
Yeah, very good. So let's count. First, when you see opinion, as Negar said, agree or disagree. Then discussion, that talks about both views. Then problem solution, sometimes cause solution, sometimes cause effect, and advantages or disadvantages, and direct questions, or as Negar said, 2-part questions. So 5 types, give and take. So let's start with opinion essays. The keywords for opinion essays are something like, do you agree or disagree? Or to what extent do you agree or disagree? For example, this is a question. Some people think that watching TV is bad for children, while others believe it can benefit them. Do you agree or disagree? As you see, I have underlined the keyword part. Do you agree or disagree? As soon as you see this part, you know that, okay, this is the opinion essay. And a tip here can be that choose a clear stance, use a strong arguments. Okay, either you support that watching TV is bad for children, or no, it can benefit them. And here actually, I just want to give you a very brief structure of the body parts, because Rahim just talked about them in detail, and I want to talk about a 4-paragraph kind of essay and not in detail. I just want to tell you that in the introduction part of the opinion essay, we paraphrase the question and we state our opinion. And in the body paragraph 1, we explain one reason to support our idea with the examples or with the explanation, as Rahim just talked about. So one reason, okay? We don't talk about 2 reasons or new idea, no, just one new idea. And body paragraph 2, another reason or counter arguments with examples, with supporting your reasons. And then conclusion. In conclusion, no new ideas, as Rahim mentioned. You summarize your position and you give the key points. That's it, nothing more. And then the discussion essay. In the discussion essay, the keywords is just discuss both views and give your own opinion. You have seen it a lot, like in this question. Some people believe that the government should provide free healthcare for everyone. Others, there's always some people and then others. Others think individuals should pay for their own medical costs. That's the key part. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So both parts and then your own opinion. The tip is here that discuss both sides equally and give a balanced opinion. Sometimes I see that the students here just stick to one side and then say maybe the negative things about the other side. No, we have to discuss both sides equally as they are. And then we stick to one side with them, not something new. So in the introduction, again, we paraphrase the question and outline both views briefly, and then we state our opinion. And then in body paragraph 1, we discuss view 1, okay, with supporting arguments. Why view 1 is like that. And then body paragraph 2, discuss view 2 with supporting arguments. Why it is like that. And in the conclusion, we summarize both views and we restate our opinion clearly. Actually, it's the same in all of them, okay? It's not something new. And then in problem and solution essay, the keywords. What are the problems and solutions, or causes and solutions, or causes and effects? This is a question. Many cities around the world are facing the problem of traffic congestion. This is the part. What are the causes of, you see here is the causes, not the problems. What are the causes of this issue, and what solutions can you suggest? And as you see here, something that I should mention is that causes is plural. Solutions is plural. So it's better that you use more than one cause, more than one solution in your body paragraphs. So the tip is that you identify clear problems and you give practical solutions. The structure here is that it's very easy. In the introduction, you paraphrase the question and outline the problem. And in the first body paragraph, you discuss the causes of the problem with examples. In the second paragraph, you suggest practical solutions to that problem. Okay, whatever problem that you mention, in the second paragraph, you suggest solutions to that problem, not something new. So everything should be related, cohesion and coherence. And then in the conclusion, you summarize the causes and solutions briefly. And advantages and disadvantages essays. Here, the keywords, very easy. What are, here I should say something, I should point out something. What are, you either have what are the advantages and disadvantages, or do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? We've got 2 types, okay, but that's not very different. I'm going to tell you about the difference here. Let's see the example. Some people prefer to live in a city while others enjoy life in the countryside. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of both lifestyles. Here you have "and" in the middle. So you must talk about advantages and disadvantages. Here, as a tip, you should provide balanced pros and cons. Okay, so in the structure, in the introduction part, you paraphrase the question and state your plan to discuss both sides. In the body paragraph 1, you discuss advantages and disadvantages of one issue. Here, you discuss advantages and disadvantages of, for example, living in the city, okay, because the question is like that. In the body paragraph 2, you talk about the advantages and disadvantages of, for example, living in the countryside. And in the conclusion, you just summarize the key points. When the question is about outweighing the advantages or disadvantages, here in your body paragraphs, you should show that, for example, the advantages are more significant than the disadvantages. It's not just that, okay, you talk about, for example, 2 advantages and then 2 disadvantages. You should show that the advantages, for instance, are more significant than the disadvantages, or vice versa. For example, there are more advantages than the disadvantages. When it says outweigh, be careful about this part in advantages and disadvantages essays. Then the direct question essays, which is the last part. Could be lots of things, you know. Mostly one of them is with why and what can be done, like this one. In many countries, young people are choosing to live on their own rather than with their families. Why is this happening? It asks for the reasons. Is this a positive or negative development? This one also is used a lot. So the tip here is that answer both parts fully and clearly. Be careful. It's very easy, okay? In the introduction, again, paraphrase the question and outline your response to both parts. Say that you are going to answer the 2 parts. In the first paragraph, you answer the first question. In the second paragraph, you answer the second question. And in the conclusion, you summarize the main points and restate your opinion. As easy as this, nothing more. And I'm done. If there are any questions, of course, I can answer. And I should say something. I remember when I was talking about that part of the band scores, I said they about 20%. I said 20%. They were 25%. I'm sorry, I made a mistake there. I just remember in the middle of the. Yes, I said 20. So I'm sorry, 25%.
I heard 25. Okay.
Really? I
don't
thought
know.
I said 20. So because yes, it's
maybe
late
you said
here,
20 and I heard
just
25.
wanted to
You know,
excuse myself for that. Yeah.
these things happen all the time. Yes.
Yeah. No, I had to say that. Okay.
Amazing. Thank you.
So,
Let's clap hands for Sabah here. I'm gonna do it first. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Beautiful,
you.
beautiful, beautiful. So going back to my screen for the last part of this presentation. So let me go back to the first slide. You know, what I promised at the beginning was we are going to talk about 3 main sections in this presentation, which was the structure, which I explained, marking criteria, question types, Sabah just explained, and the last part is going to be a very short presentation about how to practice. Now there's a tiny other thing that I added to this presentation after that, which is a gift for people who complete this presentation, who are here today live. So that the gift is only for those people, and you will see the gift after the practice part. So are you excited to learn how to practice IELTS essay writing without a teacher? Negar, don't say yes because your teacher is sitting here. You shouldn't say yes. You come on, your teacher is right here. You want to learn how to practice without
Negar is self-studying.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I thought.
yes.
I mean, you should never say yes in front of teachers because.
Yeah.
So this technique.
It's a very good technique.
Yes. So it's one method. It's a really interesting technique.
Yeah.
How to practice without a teacher, and you know there's a wink at the end. That's yeah. I'm happy there are not more teachers here today. Yeah, some of them wanted to come, but anyway, they're gonna kill us later if they see this. There is a 4-step method, And in order to do this, all you need is a good sample. So you just need to have a good sample written by an examiner or somebody who received an 8 or 9. Okay, and you can find them at the back of Cambridge books or some other books provided by Cambridge, British Council, IDP. Don't rely on samples you find online. And I wouldn't even rely on samples I find in ChatGPT per se. Like, it produces really good samples, but to be completely safe, make sure you have a sample that was graded by an examiner or the examiner wrote it. Okay, just to be sure. Once you have a good sample, you can start this 4-step method. Ready for step 1? Only Saba is ready for step 1. Okay. I think Surush is just eating something now at this point. He is not even here. Yeah. So Negar, I think you are together with Surush at the moment. So is he in the
No, I here.
refrigerator? Oh, Surush is not in the refrigerator. He is here. Okay. Sorry. Just joking. Step 1.
Come on.
So you have a good sample. Step 1. Read the question, not the sample, not the answer. Read the question, the topic of that sample, and plan an answer. That's it. But wait a second. What do you mean by that? So cover the sample, just read the topic, just read the question, and then give yourself about 5 minutes to plan your answer. And by planning your answer, I mean try to write the essay in your mind, or at least take some notes like, this is my introduction, this is my answer, it's my thesis, these are my reasons to support that in the body. You don't need to write the whole thing, just 5 minutes, some notes. And this is how I'm going to end the writing. So you have a view of the kind of essay that you want to write to answer that question. So how would you answer the question? That's a step 1, 5 minutes. When you're done, you go to step 2. Step 2 is, now you are allowed to read that good sample and compare with your plan. Did you think similarly or differently? Did you have a plan? It doesn't matter if your answers agree or disagree. What I mean is, are you thinking about the correct question? Did you get the question? Are you focusing on answering the question? Are you giving reasons and arguments that are similar, not in terms of agreeing or disagreeing, but in terms of how you are developing your ideas? And are you planning your whole writing similarly? Do you have a similar sequence of ideas or similar way of explaining and then concluding? So I know it is very tempting at this stage to pause and check words in a dictionary and to say, wow, look at this line. Don't do that. Don't do that. So the only purpose of step 2 is to read the good sample and to just think about, is this similar to my planning or different? Did I think like a person who gets an 8 or did I think differently? That's it. Okay. So it takes about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, as long as it takes for you to read the sample and to understand it and to think about it. So very easy. Step 1, step 2 are the easiest things you can do. But now comes the difficult step. The longest step is probably step 3. Step 3, you want to read that good sample again, but this time you want to learn the language and take notes. So now is the time. You know how they think, you know how they sequence ideas, you know how they develop ideas and how different it was than your plan. But now you want to actually learn language from that sample. And my tip here is, don't just make a list of new words. Try to look at sentences, structures, phrases together, chunks of sentences. Not chunks of sentences in the form of a paragraph. What I mean is chunk of words. So chunks of words within a sentence. So, for example, let me give you an example. For example, in the introduction, imagine that the good sample says something like this. There is disagreement over whether traditional education is better than online platforms. So what you want to learn here is not the word disagreement. You want to learn the phrase, there is disagreement over. Okay, so you want to learn whether what the prepositions are, what the verb is, how they're connected. And this is how you want to learn the language. And you don't need to do, you don't need to learn every single grammatical structure or the vocabulary from this good sample, just as much as you find interesting and you really say, oh, that's a good idea. That's a nice sentence. That's a good word. But take your time. So step 3 could take 1 to 2, 3, 4 hours. So take your time here. Don't rush this part. Just read the sample again and again and try to find from it beautiful pieces that you can learn language from. So remember, this is only useful after you know the plot, you know the plan, you know the thoughts, the arguments, and their connections. Now you want to go more in depth and learn the details of the language. That's a step 3. You ready for step 4? That's the last step. Yeah. That's going to be the last step. Before I give you step 4, what have we done so far? You looked at a question and you tried to plan it in your head. You read the good sample, only focusing on how it is being answered, not the language. Step 3, now you focus on the language and you want to learn words and grammar. And when you're done with these 3, step 4 is remove the sample. Completely remove the good sample. Okay, put it somewhere you can't reach. And try to write an essay as good as that. So if your sample is printed on a piece of paper, I would suggest you fold it in half and then again in half and a few more times, or make a paper ball out of it and then throw it behind the refrigerator so you can't reach it for a few hours. And if the sample is on your computer, make sure you turn off your computer, or if you don't want to pour water over it. So make sure you remove the sample completely, okay? You do not have the sample near you anymore in step 4. It's very important because you are going to be tempted to go back to the sample and look at it again. Because, oh, I forgot, what did the writer say about this part? How did they argue this point? I forgot that. You're not allowed to go back, okay? You're not allowed to go back to the sample in step 4. You remove it, and then you try to write the same sample or similar sample with the same question and try to produce something as good as that sample that got an A. You're not going to produce it exactly like that or at that level, but it is going to push you to remember the thought process, some of the languages you learned. And that's a step 4. Now, what do you do with this sample after you're done? You don't need to do anything with it. If you do have an English teacher, you can show it to them to give you some feedback. But if you don't, that's fine, because this process, the 4-step process, is improving your writing. Even if nobody gives you feedback, you repeat this many times with many samples, and you will see that gradually your writing skills are getting improved more and more, just because you are reading samples with intention of learning thoughts, arguments, coherence, the cohesion, how the response works, and also the language, lexical resource, and the grammar. So that's the 4-step method. And now, before we say goodbye, do you want a gift? Sabah is nervous. Well, what kind of a gift is he going to give them? Nobody wants a gift. Okay, so let's just say goodbye. So nobody said they want a gift in chat.
I'm just sending a like, so it means yes.
No, you want a gift. I'm not giving you a gift. I'm giving our students here a gift. So nobody. Yeah. So my suggestion for the samples was samples written by examiners or graded samples, that got 8 or 9. So nothing less than 8, okay? So where can you find those samples? You can find them at the back of Cambridge books. You can find them in some other books by British Council or IDP. You can ask Sabo. You can look them up online. Just make sure that the source of the samples are British Council or Cambridge or IDP, or maybe some examiners that you know already, like Simon, as
yes, I've got mentioned. Simon samples 9. Yes, I've got them. I can send them to you, Negar, if you like.
Okay, so Negar doesn't want a gift. She just wanted to ask a question. Okay, so should we say goodbye now? Nobody wants a gift.
Of course, everybody wants a gift. Come on.
Surush
The
is busy
internet
again.
speed
Surush
is
doesn't want a gift
slow.
either. Okay. Here's the gift. Yeah, I know
Give
Nagar
me
is
the
typing.
gift.
Yes, please give me the gift. Now,
Yes,
she's been
of
typing for a few
course.
seconds now.
Yes.
Okay,
She
yes.
said, need a gift,
So,
you see.
yes, got it.
I actually
So
need a gift.
here is the first gift. The first gift is you can send us an essay to check for you. So only if you do it within 2 days of this workshop. If you write an essay and you send it to us by email to ieltsplus.canada@gmail.com, we are going to check it for you. We will grade it. We will tell you exactly in each marking criteria what you would get for that essay. And my suggestion is, if you want to write an essay to be checked, do it in 40 minutes, like the exam environment. Okay, so 40 minutes, 250 words, just sit down and write an essay. The topic is up to you. You can pick any essay topic you want, or you want to practice, or you want to measure yourself with, and then you can send it to us by email at ieltsplus.canada@gmail.com, and we will give you feedback. And the second one is you can find videos on YouTube from ieltsplus.canada. I'm also going to share a link with you in chat right here. So this is one of the videos. I think this is about grammar accuracy and range that I'm going to share with you right now in chat so that you can find it more easily. So you find this one, you can find the other ones connected. If you enjoy getting more information about different parts, we just started the YouTube channel, so there is not a lot over there. We have, I think, 3 videos so far, but we are going to keep uploading videos talking about different aspects of IELTS tests, not writing, all the other skills. At the moment, we are focusing on IELTS writing skill, but you can find videos and watch them over there too, and ask questions in the comment section or anywhere you want. So these are some gifts I had for you.